Hey, what's up team? It's Sherman here from Geek Psychology. This video is on the panic mechanic, explaining how the functions kind of shift from within your egoic control, mainly, into the kind of shadow realm of things. And this is really, it's just gamified. And so if you want like the clear, probably a little bit better explanations, you want to go buy some of John Beebe's books, and I'll list some other links down below. But this is just my attempt at explaining it. All right. So let's get right into it. Within the RPG model of understanding the cognitive functions, you have your four main characters. You have your leader, which is your dominant approach to reality, how you see the world, how you interact with the world. And then from there you have your companion, which is the other character that's there to help your leader fulfill its goals, as well as to support people. And so we're going to be talking about the companion in this video and what happens when there's too much stress and they kind of flip out and they go wild, they go chaotic, and their alignment is no longer with the ego. So starting out, your auxiliary function, which I call the companion, is what is going to be used usually to mentor and support people. It's generally there to encourage and enable them to do whatever they're trying to do. It's to give advice a lot of times. It's also to support your leader. So for me, I'm an INFP, so introverted feeling is my leader. It's kind of like this priesty or druidic class, however you want to think of it, but I think of it as a healer. And then from there, the companion is extroverted intuition. So it's this kind of slightly, let's say, wild, a little bit bouncy, kind of like electricity, you know, it's just kind of like all over the place. I think of it usually as a gunner, shotgun, a bunch of pistols, just tons of different weapons that they can pull out at any time to shake up the situation, throw down some AoE or something, kind of enable a new way of perceiving the situation. So when people come to me for support, they ask me questions like, hey, can you help me out with this, whatever it is, I usually try to give them new possibilities. I try to allow them to see the world in a different way so that they're able to notice the possibilities, notice the different options, the different choices, and create a new option from there and create a new path for them to take. So that's how my extroverted intuition comes out. And so it's a lot of protection, support, things like that. It's a good companion. It's like Samwise and Frodo. Okay, Samwise, I don't, whatever way you perceive who the hero or the protagonist is of that story, that's up to you, but just go with me here. It's the guy that's there to help carry and support the leader as they go along their path. And this works with other people too. I keep saying that, but that's how it comes out a lot of times. If you think of how you envision a good teacher, it probably comes from fulfilling the archetypal energies that are there that represent the teacher. So let's continue on with this a little bit. So you have the companion. I feel that if it's leveled up and it's fully embraced and you've spent a lot of time leveling that companion as it's along the journey with you, then it'll shift into the mentor. And the mentor is just a higher level version of that. The companion, you know, he can kind of mess up every once in a while. He's got his own goals, or she's got her own goals, but the mentor is there more to guide the subordinate or the student or whatever it is towards going to a better position and a better life and teaching them the skills. All right, so that's kind of how I feel the auxiliary function comes out if you've really embraced it. John Beebe calls it the good parent. Makes sense, right? If you think of a good parent, that's what they're there to do. They're there to support their child's growth. And they have different ways of doing it. Not everybody does it through giving new possibilities like I did. Not everybody does it through feelings and emotions and things like that. You could have introverted thinking in, for example, an ESTP or ENTP. That is the auxiliary function. I consider it to be like this arcanist or a wizard or something like that. You could still use that to support other people and to enable them to make better choices or see the world in a better way, right? It's through giving sound logic and explaining the different models of understanding the world and the different taxonomies and defining and clarifying all these different things. That could still be very helpful to people, right? So don't get too pigeonholed into the idea that support is always through healing and feelings and emotions and things like that, right? For an INFP, my companion is extroverted, okay? But when it's shifted into my sixth function, it's introverted. So it's still intuition, but it's twisted. It's looking the opposite direction. And this will come out in a critical parent way, as John Beebe says. You can think of it as the Senex, or the kind of like old crotchety man, like that bitter archmage that's just like, what do you want? That's kind of how that's coming out. It could be a woman too, whatever, like a witch or a hermit or something like that. But it's not supportive. It's belittling. It's trying to diminish and take away from people. And it's hypercritical. It's controlling. It creates fear. If you think of like, I keep imagining it as an ogre. Like for whatever reason, my companion, when bad things happen, I get stressed out or I get put in a position where I'm trying to control a bad child or somebody's bad behavior. I feel like I'm switching into this kind of mean ogre that's just trying to devour them. Adam Fry said it's the withering authority. It's a pretty cool word for it. Brings a lot of different RPG ideas to it. As a little bit more practical example here, if you think of an ESFJ, for example, someone who you would imagine is very supportive, usually, they're naturally trying to help people through giving them introverted sensing advice, saying like, this is how things work. This is, you know, the information that's going to be helpful for you to continue along and stabilize the situation and make sure that unexpected things don't happen, right? So this is the procedure that you should go through in order to cook this delicious meal. If you switch that and go into the chaotic realm of things and the Senex comes out, or this bitter sergeant, or whatever word you want to call it, it's going to switch to extroverted sensing, and it's going to be a lot more wild, a lot more chaotic, and it is going to be very in the moment, very physical, possibly loud, aggressive, and it's going to attack things. And so instead of having the patience to explain how to implement these different little techniques and go through with the proper procedure, I guess, they're going to be aggressive. They're going to run in there like a warrior and start swinging at things. They're going to be very physical, in the now, and, you know, grabbing a balloon and popping it and banging up on the ceiling, and, you know, just getting a lot more physical and trying to control people in that sense. So just real quickly, in order to explain that through visuals just a little bit, I don't know if you can see this just fine. Yeah, these are from Runehammer from Index Card RPG. Look him up, he's an awesome dude. But if you think of introverted sensing as this tank, he's going to be slower, he's going to be more methodical, and he's going to make sure that things are done correctly. And that is the advice he's going to give to other people, okay? But if it switches to this chaos realm and you have this guy trying to give you advice, it's not going to go probably like you want. Like, this guy is going to come out instantly and just be like, I'm just going to beat the crap out of things until you understand it. it's probably going to humiliate you, it's going to disable you, it's going to make things not fun for anybody. And that's how the sixth function can come out a lot of times. And it doesn't have to be through sensing, it can be whatever it is. For me as an INFP, extroverted intuition shifted into that Senex style. That bitter, angry sergeant is going to be introverted intuition. It's going to look at the deep, meaningful, long-term impact of things that can't quite be explained right now, and it's going to be very negative about it. It's going to be very critical. It's going to use that to explain all the bad ways that you, or whoever it is messing up the archetypal nature of the world. And like, because you're doing all these things, all these bad things are going to happen. Don't you feel bad about that? That's how it could come out, in a very negative way. It's not to say it's always negative. Through building awareness, through seeing yourself clearly for who you are, you're going to likely be able to train that a little bit more. It's still going to be pretty chaotic because it's in the functions 5th through 8th, but you will be able to have more awareness of it and appreciate it more and build more rapport with that function. If you consider it to be like a character and you personify it like I do, and I'm trying to get everybody else to do because I feel it's very helpful, you'll see it as this once bitter person, this old crotchety man that just didn't have the love and respect that it needed. And once you give it that respect, and once you're like, okay, as an INFP, introverted intuition can be very good. It's not necessarily my approach to things, but I can see how it really works and how it can come out with a lot of great insight. Same with extroverted sensing or whatever function it is. And once you do that enough, I feel that it can kind of shift into the sage, this wise old man, this wise old woman who is able to give the breadth of their experience or the depth of their experience in a way that is very helpful and very supportive to other people. All right, so that's just my opinion and my kind of viewpoint on how functions 2 and 6 work out together. And hopefully through this, you'll be able to see yourself and see other people when they're triggering that archetypal energy that is containing the cognitive function attitude of the auxiliary function. I hope that made sense. So what you can do, whenever you get in a situation where you just feel like you need to put somebody in their place, you should try to figure out how that's related to your 6th function. All right? And same with other people too. Whenever somebody is constantly like attacking you and you don't really know why, and they're hypercritical of what you are doing, and they're just like shaming you and just, you know, being a bad critical parent, then think about how they're perceiving you and how you are possibly showing up as this kind of wild child or person that needs to be controlled, because that's probably triggering them to go into that archetype and then to try to like switch into that sergeant, be like shaping up and kind of mold you into this perfect little robot. So anyway, that's about that. If you have any questions, comments, anything you want to talk about, please let me know. I hope this helped. If it did, don't keep me a secret. Don't keep Geek Psychology a secret. Please share it. Please pass it out. I don't do any marketing for this, so it's up to you guys. So please continue to do that. I know there are a lot of people out there that are sharing, and it's definitely helping the channel a lot. So thank you very much. Thank you, patrons, as well. Y'all are awesome. I hope that I can continue to support and serve you, and keep up the lifelong questing. Good luck, have fun. Peace. And that's how the 6th function can come out a lot of times. And it doesn't have to be through sensing, it can be whatever it is. And